Welcome to Yoga with Kaila. Let's relax and move our body with our breath. If you are loving these videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Hello and welcome to Yoga with Kaila. Let's get started on this practice. So we're going to start in our mountain pose or Tadasana. So we're going to plant through all four corners of our feet, rolling those shoulders down and back, standing tall, grounded. Taking this opportunity to check in with our body and just noticing any ailments that maybe we have today, maybe that we're experiencing in our body, any tension, stiffness, anything that might be going on, and maybe beginning to become aware of our thoughts here in this practice. Noticing them, not changing them, but just allowing them to begin to flow in and out of our head without a whole lot of focus on each one. Checking in with our breath, being in the present moment. And in the present moment, we let go of judgment and expectation. We begin to guide ourselves into our yoga practice, knowing that we're doing this for ourselves, just for today. Let's begin with inhaling, sweeping our arms up high overhead, exhaling down through heart center. Let's do another one just like that. Using your own breath guiding you. Wonderful. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, this time let's sink our sit bones down and back, sinking them down into chair. Now you do not need to match my pace. The goal here is to match your own breath with your own movement. So feel free to go as fast or as slow as you'd like to go, making sure that it's one breath, one movement. We're just beginning to meet ourselves here in this warm-up. Let's inhale, sweep our arms up high overhead. Exhale, swan diving forward, hinging from our hips, sweep the ground. Inhale, reverse that swan dive, leading through heart center. So I'll show you from the side. As we exhale down, we're leading through that heart center region, and we drop those hips so that heart center can help guide us on the way up. In our swan dive, we bend those knees as deeply as we need to allow that belly to rest on top of them. Being kind as we're warming up our body through breath and movement. Wonderful, you've got this. And this time, let's just hang out in our standing forward fold. So let's ground our hands on the mat or onto a yoga block. Or maybe we're choosing to ground them onto our thighs, allowing that forehead to simply drop. We're just allowing ourselves to be here, allowing gravity to pull us down towards the floor, our sit bones to rise up high towards the sky. Let's go ahead and plant our hands and we'll step our feet back, finding our downward facing dog first of this practice. Take an opportunity to walk your dog out if it feels good to you, or maybe you like the raise and the fall and the heels. Your down dog, your practice. Listen to your body. Let's just begin to meet ourselves here in this moment. Let's inhale forward, coming into our plank, shoulders coming over our fingers. Let's drop those knees down. Exhaling, elbows to our sides. We come down, mini crocodile, all the way to the floor. Inhaling, rolling those shoulders down and back into our spine, allowing those elbows to come down towards our hips. We find baby cobra. Exhaling, pressing into our palms of our hands, lifting back up, curling those back toes under, pressing back, downward facing dog. Let's do one more mini flow, just like that. Inhaling forward into plank. Let's go ahead and drop our knees. Exhaling, crocodile, chest coming down before our belly. Inhaling, rolling those shoulders down and back. Cobra. Exhaling, curling the toes under, pressing back. Downward facing dog. So as we're here in our downward facing dog, I want you to remember that at any point during your practice, you are always welcome to come down into child's pose. You are always welcome to take child's pose whenever your body needs it in this practice. And if down dog is a little too much for us, we always have that option of puppy. It's just down dog with a shortened lever. So we have that option as well. So we're listening to our body and taking any modification that we need to in our practice. Let's begin to walk our feet up towards the top of our mat. Bending deeply through our knees. Let's reverse our swan dive all the way up to the sky. Exhaling, hands down to our sides. Take the opportunity. Let's check back in with our body. Let's do a little bit of a body scan. So this practice is all about scanning through the body and noticing whatever might come up. So as we're scanning our body, noticing how does our feet feel? Do we feel grounded into the earth? Can we draw that sensation, that strength up through our inner thighs all the way up to our root chakra? Can we draw that sensation, pulling that navel in, stimulating that sacral chakra? Can we draw that sensation up a little further, coming into that solar plexus chakra? We draw that up, coming through heart, all the way through our throat chakra, all the way up to that third eye and out through our crown chakra. Drawing that energy out, checking in with our body on the whole line up. Wonderful. Let's begin with our sun salutations. We'll inhale, sweep those arms up high overhead. Exhaling, swan diving forward. Picking up our right foot, we're going to step it on back, finding lunge. Option to drop your knee. Inhale, raise. Exhale, hands down. Let's step our left foot back, pressing it back, downward facing dog. We'll go through our little flow here. We inhale into plank. Option to drop our knees. Exhale, crocodile. Inhaling, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll lift our right leg up high towards the sky. Let's step it on through. Find that lunge. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands down. Let's step our left foot in. Reverse that swan dive. Inhale. Exhaling down into chair. Inhale, lift. Mini back bend. Exhale, swan dive forward. This time, left foot lifts. We step it on back. Inhale to lift. Exhale, hands are placed down into the mat. We step it back, finding that downward facing dog. And you know what we're doing. Mini flow here. Option always to drop down to your knees. Inhale, forward, plank. Listen to your body. Crocodile. Cobra. Downward facing dog. Let's go ahead and lift that left leg up high towards the sky. We'll step it on through. Finding that lunge. We inhale to lift. Exhale, hands are placed. Step that back foot in. Reverse your swan dive. Inhale. Exhaling down into chair. Inhale, mini back bend. Exhale, swan diving forward. Let's add on to our sun salutations. This time we pick up our right foot. We step it on back. Inhale to rise in our lunge. Good. Exhale, right hand beside our left foot. We inhale to rise, twisting lunge. So left arm up high towards the sky. We're twisting towards that left knee. Exhale, hands down. Step it back, downward facing dog. Let's go through our little mini flow at your own pace. You know what you've got. Plank, crocodile, cobra, or upward facing dog. So if we're in up dog, everything from our toes all the way up is lifted. Our shoulders are pressing down in towards the mat. Curling our toes under, press it back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up high towards the sky. Let's go ahead and step it on through. Inhale to rise. Exhale down, left hand beside right foot. Inhale, right arm draws up high towards the sky. Twisting lunge. Exhale, hand down to the mat. Let's go ahead and step that left foot in. Reverse our swan dive. Inhale. Exhaling down into chair. Inhale to rise, mini back bend. Exhale, swan dive forward. This time left leg lifts, step it on back. Rising in our lunge. Exhale, hands down, left hand beside right foot. Inhale, right arm rises up high towards the sky. Twisting lunge. Exhale, hand down. Step it back, downward dog. Let's go through our little mini flow. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. Exhale, down dog or child's. Let's pick that right leg up high towards the sky. We'll step it on through. Inhale to rise. Exhale, left hand down. Let's give our lunge twist. Good, down it goes. Step that left foot in. Reverse your swan dive, inhale. Exhaling into chair. Inhale to rise. Mini back bend, exhale, swan dive forward, left leg. We're going to step our right leg back, inhale to rise. Exhale, right hand beside left foot. Left hand rises, twisting lunge. Exhale, hand down. Let's step that left foot back, downward facing dog. Let's go ahead and flow. Inhale. Exhale, down. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog or child's. Left leg lifts. Let's go ahead and step it on through. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands down, right hand beside our left foot. Inhale, left hand rises, twisting lunge. Exhale, hand down. Step our right foot in. Reverse that swan dive. Inhale up. Exhaling into chair. Mini back bend. Exhale to Tadasana, mountain pose. Whew. I hope you're feeling warm. I know I'm feeling warm. Oh my gosh, that was so wonderful. I love this. Okay, let's go into our half moon, crescent moon. Inhale, arms up, sweeping high overhead. Hands, palms clasped, releasing the pointer finger. They come up out of that waist, arms back by our ears. Option to stay here or option to add on. So working those shoulders back. Hands or biceps coming back beside our ears. Let's lift up out of that waist. Our hands are going to go up and over to the right as our hips go off to the left. So hips go left, hands go right, arms go straight. Think of two armpits coming forward. So check in. Which way are you rotating? Two armpits forward, biceps by our ears, hips are off. We're really beginning to open up through that left side body here. Bringing that awareness to that breath. Can you find your Ujjayi breath here in this posture? That Darth Vader style breath. So if you've never done Ujjayi breathing, think of it like you're trying to fog up a glass with your nose. I like to refer to it almost like a snoring breath. Inhale, up, back to center. Give yourself a little wiggle. Let's come up out of that waist. Hands go up and over to the left. Hips off to the right. Biceps back by those ears. You've got it. So if we're going into that Ujjayi breathing, that Darth Vader or snoring style breath, it's all in the back of that throat. Inhales and exhales through our nose. The Ujjayi breathing is so good for stimulating that vagus nerve, for really beginning to bring us into that parasympathetic state, to allow ourselves to calm, to relax, to allow ourselves to really begin to enjoy the benefits of this practice. It also stimulates our throat chakra. So we got so much going on with our Ujjayi breathing. Inhale back through center. Give yourself a little wiggle. All right, let's go into a little back bend. We're gonna lift up out of that waist and come up and over a beach ball. So from the side, looks like this, up and over the beach ball. Draw those fingers in a line on your ceiling. Keep those biceps back by our ears so our arms aren't going back further than our head. We're keeping our Jalandhara Bandha. We've got that little bit of like a tennis ball underneath our chin. So Jalandhara Bandha is our throat lock. Looking up towards the sky if it's available for our eyes, head, neck, shoulders today. Being kind, listening to our body. Gentle back bend. Taking one more inhale here. Exhaling, swan dive forward, coming all the way down into your forward fold. Ground down once again. Block, shins, thighs, or down onto your mat. Your choice. Or maybe you want to do a little sway and you decide to grab elbow to elbow and give yourself that little sway, that rock side to side. Completely up to you. Allow those knees to bend, that belly to sandwich down. Let's go ahead and take gorilla posture. So gorilla posture, hands, palms are going to face up and then you're going to step onto them. So if we're not quite at the point where we're touching the floor or our feet, just begin to just keep here in your forward fold. If you'd like to go further into gorilla posture, we're going to hands, palms up towards the sky. Toes are going to come up towards your wrists. Think of like massaging out your wrists with your toes. So we're grabbing onto our feet here with our palms facing up. We're going to pull with our arms as we extend through our legs, dropping that forehead down towards our knees, tucking that forehead in, pulling and pressing. At the same time, we should feel a really nice release down the backside of those legs, down into the lower back, maybe through the shoulder region. Lots of different places that you might be feeling this stretch in our gorilla posture here today. Pulling, extending, maybe let's try and see, can you roll a little bit more weight into your toes? What does that feel like? Find that Ujjayi breathing. Find even just your breath. If you're not doing Ujjayi breathing, let's bring that awareness and focus back to our breath. Can you breathe in and out through your nose? And slowly beginning to release our hands. Let's go ahead and bend our knees and let's roll up one vertebrae at a time. Let's go ahead and roll out those shoulders. That felt really good, didn't it? Oh, wow. It's nothing like a good gorilla posture to get a nice pull through the body. Okay, so starting at the top of our mat here, let's go ahead and take our right foot. We're going to step it on back, finding our warrior one. I like a nice short stance for my warrior one. Finding whatever hand options that resonate with you. Hands at heart center, hands above your head. Maybe you like your hands onto your hips. Completely your choice. So we're in our warrior one posture. Standing nice and tall. Belly is pulled up and in. Right? All right, belly's pulled up and in. Shoulders down and back. Should feel really nice, pressing down firmly through that right heel. Getting that nice, beautiful calf stretch. Keeping a nice bend in that front knee. That left knee. And from here, we're going to shift our weight into that left leg, pressing up with that right calf. Shift the weight forward into the left leg. Let's go ahead and lift that right foot up off the ground. Hands come around behind us. We come into our toppling tree. So toppling tree, hands behind us, beginning to hinge forward. Hinging from the hips here. So making sure that you're not rounding through that spine. We want that nice heart center, chest forward, shoulders back and down. Back is nice and long. We're hinging forward, toppling tree. Find that balance point. If you're finding yourself wobbling or wiggling or falling out, go ahead and just keep trying. Keep using that yogi strength and determination to get back in. Take one more full inhale here. Exhale, coming back to that warrior one. Let it go. Let's go ahead and do that body scan. Let's check in with our body. How do our feet feel, our calves? Are you noticing any tension that has built maybe from our toppling tree, maybe in the calf region, maybe in your quads. What's going on? Check in. What is your self-talk like? What kind of messaging are you telling yourself? Let's go ahead and heel toe that right foot open, finding our warrior two. We extend down into that warrior two. Let's go ahead and bounce a couple times. Find that nice, beautiful stance that we love in that warrior two. And we're gonna go ahead and flow a little here. Let's inhale to reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. So as we inhale reverse warrior, we're inhaling courage and strength. And as we exhale into side angle, we are exhaling into peace and love. Inhale that courage and strength. Exhale, peace and love. Let's continue. Drawing your own breath with your own movement. Let's see if we can find that light and airiness that comes through the arms. Can you make them feel light like feathers? Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale all the way down, side angle. Let's go ahead and extend that front leg nice and long, coming into our triangle, our Trikonasana. Beautiful triangles here, extending long through both legs. The goal is not necessarily to reach the ground. We're creating this beautiful triangle posture right between our arm and our leg. That's where the triangle is, right? And we're imagining that we're being sandwiched between two panes of glass. So making sure that our bum isn't tucked away. We want to be tucking that bum under. We want to have those two panes of glass. And if it's available to you, we take that head to look up at the arm above us. Maybe you'd like a little bit more opening through the front side of that right shoulder. You can go ahead and drop that arm behind you, even if you want to keep looking up at the sky. That's an option, right? These are all options, lots of things that we can do here in this yoga practice, because this is simply for us. Let's go ahead and cartwheel our arms down to the mat. We'll walk them along the long edge of the mat. We have 2 feet pointing in one direction. This is our standing straddle. Let's go ahead and use our sinking breath. Let's inhale to rise halfway. Exhale, fall. Allow yourself to fall forward. 2 more. Inhale to rise. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale to rise. Exhale to fall. Just noticing with every exhale that we're able to come a little deeper into the posture. Let's go ahead and shift some more weight into our toes, allowing our sit bones to rise up towards the sky. Our hands are here to catch us if we need them. If your hands aren't quite touching the mat, maybe you need to go ahead, take your feet a little wider, into a wider stance here, completely up to you. Let's go ahead and reach our hands behind us. A little bit of a different style of stretch. Can you get your palms down onto the mat? Noticing what that maybe feels like in your forearms. Just a little bit different. Ways that we don't often stretch. Do we often stretch all of our extensors in our forearms? Beautiful. Bring those hands back underneath your body. Let's go ahead and walk them back around that left leg, that front leg, turning to the front edge of your mat. And we'll go ahead and bend through that front knee. Let's drop that back knee down, finding kneeling lunge. We're going to go ahead and take both hands to the inside of that left foot. We're going to find our lizard posture. So in our lizard posture, we're going to go ahead and begin to bend those elbows. If it feels good, you can drop both elbows down to the mat. If you're working on that hip mobility, maybe we use a yoga block that we bring our elbows onto. Or maybe you just simply work on beginning to bend through those elbows. Completely up to you on what this looks like and how this happens for you. But we are beginning to work our way into opening through those hips a little further, creating a little bit more space for ourselves in our hip joints. Right? We often store a lot of stress and trauma, and we just store that within the hips, and the hips become locked up because we also don't stretch them as often as maybe we should be the ideal version of ourselves should be, right? Breathing in our lizard posture. Let's go ahead and come back up to our hands. Let's tuck those back toes under and go ahead and press it back. Downward facing dog. Let's take that out. Take that dog for a little walk. Now, if it feels good to you and you feel up for it, you can go ahead and go through a little flow series here. Completely up to you. Either way, we're going to meet in our downward facing dog. As soon as you finish your flow. So we're going to go ahead and reach that right leg up high towards the sky. Let's go ahead and step it on through. Step your back foot in slightly, keeping a nice bend through that front knee. Let's rise up. You should be in Warrior One on the opposite side. Hi friends, we're in Warrior One again. So what we do to one side, we must do to the other. Finding that beautiful, tall Warrior One stance. Standing tall. Maybe we decide a different arm option this time. Maybe we've decided on cactus arms, right? I'm going to turn to the other side so you guys can see me. But maybe you're taking those wide hands in your Warrior One. Completely up to you on how we're going to do this. So we've got this beautiful Warrior One posture. Pressing deeply through that left heel. Checking in with our body. Let's go ahead and shift our weight into that right leg, beginning to lift up that back leg, that left leg. Hands come down behind us. We hinge forward slightly. We come into our toppling tree, this time on the opposite side. Checking in. Can I keep my balance? Can I keep that leg elevated, nice and straight, using that glute strength here? Keeping that belly pulled up in, nice and tight, shoulders back and down. If we're falling out, wiggling, wobbling, whatever that might be, maybe we're just continuously trying. Maybe you find it helpful to bring a finger to a nose or a belly button, right? Bringing our hands to the center of our body can be quite helpful when working through balance. One more full inhale here. Exhale, let's go ahead and plant that left foot back and down, finding that Warrior One. Let's go ahead and do that body scan. Let's start with our feet. How are your feet feeling? Checking in all the way up, calves, shins, thighs, hips, chest, back, shoulders. Where's everything aligning? How are we feeling? Checking in with our mind. Are we still here in the present moment? Are we still here with our breath? Let's heel toe that left foot open, finding Warrior Two. Let's begin to flow, reverse warrior to side angle. Inhale, right hand lifts, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Let's inhale that courage and strength that we have inside, and exhaling that peace and love that we also carry with us. The courage and strength to step forward into ourselves, and the peace and love and grace that we deserve for ourselves. Using your own breath, guiding you in and out of your reverse warrior and side angle. And let's exhale into our side angle. Go ahead and straighten that front leg, finding our triangle posture. So again, checking in. Is your bum sticking way out? Can you tuck it under? Imagining ourselves being pressed between two panes of glass here. Keeping that nice, beautiful position. We're not aiming to reach the ground because then our bum sticks out. We want to keep that bum tucked under and keep that nice, beautiful triangle shape between our arm and our leg. Option to look up at the arm above us. Also, you have that option to drop that arm down behind your back if you're looking for a little bit more opening through that shoulder joint. Your practice, your yoga, listen to your body. Let's go ahead and cartwheel our arms down to our mat. Walk them along the long edge. So we have 2 feet now meeting, facing in one direction. Taking the opportunity to check in with your seated straddle. Let's go ahead and bob side to side, side to side. And we'll just check in. Let's do a side lunge, just over to one side. Let's begin to open up through one hip, inner thigh. Inhale, other side. You're going to do both sides twice. So keeping that foot nice and planted on your mat. Inhale, switch. Inhale to switch. Let's come back to center, dropping down onto our knees staying wide in our straddle. We're going to come into frog posture. So in our frog posture, our knees are nice and wide. We're going to allow ourselves to come down onto our elbows, stacking wrists or fists and allowing that forehead to plant. We come into frog posture. You can also choose to stack your forehead onto a block. That is an option for you as well. Play around with where it feels okay in your hips to stretch out the inner thigh. So maybe you like to sit back a little further, or maybe you like to shift those hips a little bit more forward. Checking in, seeing where your body needs a little bit more opening in your frog posture. Find your breath. Checking in. Can you do a deep belly breath? Can you breathe deeply into your lateral parts of your ribs and down into your belly area? Can you keep all of your breaths, your inhales and your exhales coming through the nose? Neither one is good nor bad. It's just something to be aware of, checking in. Can I do this? Is this something that I am willing to try today? Wonderful. So if we've got a block, we're going to go ahead and take that block out from underneath our forehead. Let's go ahead and plant our palms. We'll curl those back toes under, coming back into our straddle position. We're going to walk our hands back around that right foot, taking a nice deep bend through that right knee, dropping your left knee down. Let's go ahead and find our lizard pose on the other side. So elbows coming down, or maybe we're using that block. Completely up to you. Let's keep opening through that hip joint. Maybe you're noticing that the little bit of inner thigh stretching is really helping you open through that hip joint. Maybe it's helping you with your lizard posture. Checking in with our bodies, noticing, finding that breath, allowing that breath to guide us in and out of our practice here. Let's go ahead and plant firmly through our palms. We'll step our right foot back into our downward facing dog. Option to go through a flow if it feels good to you. Or option to hang it on your down dog. Listen to your body. We'll meet in our downward facing dog. Pressing firmly through all 5 fingers, pressing back through our heels, sit bones rising. Let's go ahead and walk our feet up towards our hands, taking a nice deep bend through our knees. We'll go ahead and roll up 1 vertebra at a time. Let's go ahead and roll out those shoulders. Okay, so we are going to come into our dancer's pose today as our balancing posture. So dancer's pose. Let's go ahead and lift our right foot up, shifting our weight into our left foot. Hand palm faces out. We're going to grab onto our ankle from the inside, fingers to the outside. Okay, this is step 1. If you like, you can stay here in step 1. or you can choose to add on. It is completely up to you. So if we're adding on, we're inhaling that left arm up high towards the sky, palm turns to face the floor. We're going to kick our right foot back, the foot that you've got lifted, kick it back as we begin to hinge forward. That kick is what drives us up and back, and we're reaching forward. Think of like Superman. Find a point of focus, kick up and back, hold, breathe. If we're falling out, wiggling, wobbling, we're bringing that finger to our nose or to our belly button, to that center region. Or maybe we're just continuously trying and keep on kicking, keep on trying to get back in. Holding our dancer's pose, breathing. Taking an inhale, coming back up through center. Exhale, slowly let it go. Shake it out, let it go. Let's just shake it out. Okay, that feels so good sometimes, just to shake it out and let it go. Okay, let's do the other side. I'm gonna grab a quick sip of water. Oh my gosh. All right, challenging ourselves with the other side. Left hand open, kicking our left foot up, grabbing it, from the inside, fingers to the outside. Option to stay here. Option to draw that arm up high towards the sky, and then option to kick up and back and beginning to hinge forward. Kicking up, back, using that kick to guide us forward. That glute strength, that quad strength, finding that yogi strength to stay in our balancing dancer's pose, finding that yogi determination. I like to find a drishti or a point of focus on the wall in front of me so that I can keep up and keep on kicking with my dancer's pose, keeping that knee tucked in. Woo. Here we go. I'm gonna fall. Here we go. Got it. Minor adjustments, right? Let's inhale back through center. Exhale, let it go. Whew, shake it out. Let it go. Let it go. Okay. Coming back to our Tadasana, our mountain pose. Let's go ahead, give yourself a little wiggle wobble and check in with your body. How am I feeling? Bring your hands to heart center in our Anjali Mudra. Let's begin to honor ourselves and honor our body for this standing practice today. And we'll go ahead and inhale to rise, exhale to forward fold, swan diving forward. Stepping our feet back, we'll find our downward facing dog. And then we can go ahead and lower our knees down onto the mat, pressing back into a child's pose. So check in with your body as we really dive into our floor series and we begin to relax into our child's pose here. Taking your knees as wide as you feel comfortable to in your child's pose, or allowing those forearms to rest onto your mat, or maybe you allow your arms to rest down by your sides. Working on grounding through that forehead, we can always use a block underneath our forehead. Or we can stack wrists or fists. But making sure that we ground that forehead down on some sort of surface. It's so important to listen to our bodies, to breathe, to bring that awareness inside. Let's inhale forward, shifting our hips off to one side. We'll bring our legs around long into our staff pose. Sitting up and tall into staff, rolling those shoulders back and down. Flexing those feet, drawing those toes back towards your face. Let's inhale, arms sweep up high overhead. And we'll exhale our hands over to the right. Give yourself a little twist. Inhale to rise. Exhale to the left. Inhale to rise. Exhale right. Inhale to rise. Exhale left. Let's go inhale to rise. Exhale down and forward. Forward fold. So just allowing ourselves to fall wherever we fall today. Not forcing it, just allowing our head, neck, shoulders to round forward, tucking forward. Go ahead and check in with your neck. Can you rock it side to side? Keeping that mobility in our spine is so important. And as we hold a posture, our body begins to release. So using that breath, that sinking breath with every exhale, noticing, can I walk my hands a little further forward? Can I allow my body to round a little bit more down? And let's begin to roll back up one vertebra at a time. Coming back into our staff pose. Let's go ahead and bend through our knees. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing here. So we're bending through our knees. Hands, palms are coming around behind us. Fingertips are facing towards our glutes. We're going to come into tabletop here. So as we go ahead here, we're going to lift our hips up towards the sky, coming into our tabletop position. Pressing into our palms, lifting our hips up, pulling that belly in nice and tight. We find our hastabandha, that hand lock, like a gecko placing its fingers and hands onto the mat. We suction cup up and through the center. And then we find that padabandha, that foot lock, drawing up that energy up through our feet, grounding down into the earth. Keeping our hips lifted. And then slowly, slowly beginning to lower down. Let's go ahead and extend those legs back out. And we'll come back down and forward into our forward fold. Inhaling back up. Let's go ahead and come into our incline plank. Hands, palms behind us. We're going to go ahead and lift our sit bones up off of our mat, coming into our incline plank here. Pulling that belly in nice and tight, lifting our hips up. So incline plank is an option. If incline plank is too much for you, you can go back to tabletop. We're just building on that strength. Keeping those hips lifted, body up tall, looking down your body, nice long line, keeping that Jalandhara Bandha, that throat lock, right? Like we have a little ball underneath our chin and chest, so our throat isn't tucked all the way in and it's not all the way back. So we've got that nice, beautiful throat lock as we're lifted here. And then slowly, slowly lower down. Let's go ahead, forward fold. And what you might notice is sometimes just simply squeezing through the backside body teaches it how to let go, teaches it, oh, this is how we work and this is how we relax. Wonderful. Coming back up nice and tall. We're going to roll onto your side body. So we're going to come into our supported side plank here. So we've got our right leg underneath us, our right hand underneath us, our left hand above us, left leg out nice and long, supported side plank. Option to stay here or option to add on a little bit more movement. So if we're adding some movement, we're going to bring that elbow towards our knee, coming into that yogi strength movement, elevating that left foot above the mat. Let's do 3 more if we're moving or we're just holding, your choice. Hold, lower that foot back down, supported side plank. Exhale, let it go, coming into our hero posture. Shoulders roll down and back, chest is lifted. Hero posture. And then let's go ahead and do the other side. So left hand comes down, left knee underneath our body, right foot out. Nice and long. Inhale, lift. supported side plank. Option to stay here or option to add on a little bit of core strengthening, lifting that right foot up. Let's bring that elbow in towards our knee. Inhale. 3 more. Extend, replace. Let's come back to that hero posture. So from hero posture, we're going to walk our hands behind us, coming into a little bit of a micro back bend here. But if you want to open a little bit more through the quads, this is a great stretch to begin to open through the quads. So we are option to stay here or option to go ahead and lift those hips up. Pressing those hips up towards the sky, kind of like what we were doing in our tabletop and our incline plank. So we're just lifting our hips up, but you'll notice that this provides a beautiful stretch all down the front side of your quads, all into those hip flexors. Keeping that Jalandhara Bandha, that throat lock, so we're not tucking our throat too far in or allowing our head to fall too far back, pressing into our hands, lifting up, finding that little bit of a chest expansion here as we're in a nice back bend. Let's go ahead and allow our sit bones to rest back down. Let's walk our hands forward, coming into that little bit of a child's pose here. So good. Let's go ahead and sink our sit bones off to one side. Allow those legs to come back out around in front of us. But this time, we're going to take both legs out nice and wide, coming into a seated straddle. From seated straddle, we're going to begin to walk our hands palms forward, allowing our body to rest forward. So noticing if your ankles are rolling in and your toes begin to point forward, can you keep those ankles up and your knees pointing up towards the sky? Can you begin to walk those hands forward? And if you're getting those hands forward, maybe you can allow those elbows to begin to rest down, stretching out that inner thigh. So really taking any variety, any option that feels good to you, but checking in that those knees and ankles aren't completely rolling in. We want to keep them up nice and tall, really beginning to open up through those abductors. Let's inhale to rise. Exhale, hands over to the right. Give yourself that little bit of a twist here. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands over to the left. Same thing, twist. Let's do that once more on each side, 2 more times. Inhale to rise. Exhale, right. Inhale to rise. Exhale, left. Inhale to rise, exhale down and center. Let's go ahead and shake out those legs, allow them to come back around and forward. Let's go ahead and grab onto the back of one knee and allow ourselves to roll down into our mat, bringing our knees in towards our chest, giving ourselves that little bit of a rock out. Checking in with our body once again. Let's do a little bit of a body scan starting at your feet. Scanning all the way up. Ankles and shins, knees, thighs, hips. Right? Working our way up into our shoulders, neck, back, chest. All the way up that spine. Let's allow our left leg to fall out nice and long. Our right knee, we're going to squeeze it in towards our right shoulder, coming out around that rib cage, bringing that knee in towards our shoulder, becoming to our wind removing posture. Knee to shoulder, squeezing it in nice and tight, compression of the hip joint here. A little bit of compression in that hip joint is oh so wonderful. And let's exhale that leg out. Let's switch. Left leg bends, right leg out nice and long, clasping onto that left knee. Let's bring it out around that left rib cage in towards that left shoulder, squeezing two arms in towards your left shoulder, compression of the hip joint here. Beginning to flush out anything that's really building up in that hip. We compress it and then we allow that rich oxygenated blood to flow through it. Bringing that knee in towards our shoulder. And slowly let it go. Two legs out nice and long. This time, right knee bends. Let's bring the foot of our right foot, bringing it up towards our left hip. We allow that knee to begin to open. So grabbing onto the top of our foot with our left hand, we're coming into our supine pigeon. So you'll notice that that left knee begins to open. We're just holding onto that foot. And just allowing gravity to do its work, pulling in through those hip rotators. You'll notice maybe a little bit of a stretch in your TFL. We've got lots kind of going on here. But it's so important to make sure that with our yoga practice that we are stretching out those hips. So we'll make sure that we get all the sides of them. Finding that breath, inhales and exhales through our nose. Let's allow that foot to let go. Let's plant that right foot onto our mat, pressing into our right foot. We're lifting our hips up and over to the left. Come into our supine spinal twist here. Hips off to, coming off to the left. Our knee comes off to the left. Our arm opens and our head looks over to the right here. A little bit of a twist through our spine. So good for the hips, that low back. Lots of things going on here. And slowly, slowly coming back to center. Let's go ahead and extend the right leg out, left leg bends. Let's bring the top of our foot up towards our right hip, grabbing onto the top of that foot with our right hand. We're allowing that knee to fall open, finding our supine half pigeon here. Supine pigeon, so good. Allowing gravity to do the work for us. Working through that hip joint a little here. Breathing, inhales and exhales through your nose. Allowing ourselves to really calm into our practice here. Allowing ourselves to begin to let go. Go ahead and plant that left foot down onto our mat, pressing our weight into our left foot. Our hips come up and over to the right. This time, our knee off to the left, arm opens. We look over that left shoulder. That knee goes off to the right. We're pulling, twisting. We're in this beautiful supine spinal twist. Breathing, inhales and exhales through our nose. And slowly beginning to unravel back through center. Our legs extend out nice and long, hands, palms fall to our sides, shoulders roll down into our spine, and we're going to come into our final relaxation, our Savasana. Our corpse pose is another name for it. And just allowing ourselves to find any position that's really comfortable for us. You can take Savasana on your back. You can allow your knees to bend and knock inward on each other. Or you can also choose to take it laying on your stomach with your hands clasped on your forehead. So finding an easy resting position for you that feels comfortable, where you can really feel that you can ground down into the earth. And we're going to begin to soften our gaze, and that might mean closing our eyes. That might mean just finding something to focus on. And we're going to begin to bring our awareness inside of our body and finding that breath and noticing the path that it travels in our body. And through breath, we're also going to begin to bring that awareness to all of the points of contact of our body against our mat. Noticing all the major points of your body that feel that it is grounding down onto your mat. And through all of those points of your body, I want you to imagine you've got big, beautiful roots like a tree growing down into the earth, into the soil that lives in the earth. Grounding our energy down into the earth is so important. Keeps us here now. And it helps to calm our feelings of anxiousness and worry. Because we're in the here and the now, and I can ground in the now with my breath. I feel grounded and strong, rooted and calm. Finding that breath, noticing your roots growing deeper. They begin to reach down through the earth, through the core of the earth. You become connected, both yourself, your mind, body, spirit, all within the universe. Knowing that you are supported and held up by your body, by the earth. You're here supported by the earth and all of the energy the earth has to offer you. You are important, you are special, and most of all, you are loved. Let's go ahead and bring that awareness back into our body, wiggling our fingers and our toes. Let's roll our wrists and our ankles. Reaching our hands above our head, let's give ourselves a nice, beautiful, good morning stretch. Let's slowly begin to roll onto one side body, coming into a little bit of a fetal position here, taking as much time as you need before we come up to an easy seated position near the top of your mat. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you so very much for coming on this journey here with me today. I truly am blessed to have you join me. The light in me bows and honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you.